And welcome back, everyone, to the International Wildcard Invitational semi-final number 2. My name is Julian Pastry Time Carl. We're going to get ourselves into the second match here between the Saigon Jokers and Supermassive Esports. Supermassive, our upper game here. Joining me once again on the analyst desk are Carbon and Soulstrike. Been lovely to have you here, boys. That first game, though, just looked clinical from Supermassive.
Amazing punish game from Supermassive. Every time Saigon Jokers stuffed up an engage or mispositioned, Supermassive always had the appropriate punish. Really strong fundamentals. I was very impressed.
Yeah, and it was more like seeing Supermassive playing the Saigon Jokers playstyle, like playing the counter punch comp.
Yeah, and it definitely felt like, honestly, Saigon Jokers were just not playing the game we expected from them. And once again, it always starts with draft here. We have a couple of things to maybe address on the Saigon Joker side because they do need to make some changes here. Let's start with the picks because it just didn't feel like their style of League of Legends.
I mean, one big thing is that they're going to be blue side. That the sides are going to stay the same.
Yep.
And so we're probably going to see a very similar draft from Supermassive, but that's okay, I think. I think the big thing is that Saigon Jokers need to change up what they're doing. It's not necessarily that the champs are picking a weak, it's that they don't fit how they play. I think one really big thing is that Cassidy absolutely needs to go. They need to either pick wave clear or engage from the mid lane. They can pick they can afford to only pick wave clear if they pick some engage from the top lane maybe, or the jungle.
Yeah, and the Morgana pick was a bit of a X for me as well. Just a weak laner, and just need to pick something dominating and get that celebrity rolling because he played so well.
Yeah, I mean, I want to point out one play, and that was when the dive bot and Liss roamed bot to try and sorry, it wasn't a dive, but Liss roamed bot, and Celebrity just dashes forward and just one shots the Kalista. I mean, this guy is good, he's playing well, but he needs some support in the lane, and I don't think more can give that to him.
Yeah. And they had Elise and Morgana pretty much supporting, but still not enough.
And it really just felt like, kind of looking through it all, objective game was definitely not there either for the Saigon Jokers. Feels like maybe they need something to help secure them or just play around the map a bit more because they were sort of missing all their elements. They had no winning lane, bottom lane. Cassidy didn't offer wave clear to help them total up. And kind of the one thing I think you guys noticed is that there is no way to start a team fight. Celebrity really wanted to kill people, and he had absolutely no way, no help to do so.
Yeah, I mean, just starting very quickly with the lanes. I mean, they conceded 2 out of their 3 lanes at the very start. Cassidy does beat Liss, but in a vacuum, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as the Graves is involved, Graves-Liss is such a strong combo that there's really not much room for Cassidy to move, especially when you have an Elise. The other thing is the Morgana, we just touched on it, not a great laner. Celebrity pretty much 1v2 the lane, which we thought was what was going to happen on the other side, was that Dumbledores were going to roam and that Chu would have to 2v1, but it looked more like Celebrity was 2v1ing.
Yeah, and I really like what Stomach did. Like, he knew that Cassidy does beat Lissandra if there's no touch, just leave the mid laners alone. But Stomach just went mid and hit the tower with his red buff. I think it was like level 3 even. So he got the tower really quick and just that Cassidy, like low wave clear, like didn't have any impact.
What was really good about that moment was what happened was because Graves had taken both his buffs, the second blue buff was spawning. And so Elise really wants to give it to Cassidy so that Cassidy can win his lane. So Stomage does the really smart thing, and that is he stands in the river, waits to see which one Elise will prioritize. As soon as she shows that she's prioritizing blue, you just run straight mid. Cassidy goes to take the blue as well, and they just chunk the tower to pretty much 100 health.
And again, it was just, smart punishes, strong movement around from Supermassive that sort of got themselves into this game. It felt they didn't really do anything wrong. The picks were strong. They got, honestly, one of the best comps they could ask for, especially in this tournament. And they just played a very solid group of fundamentals. So Saigon Jokers, what else maybe needs to change here? Because there's maybe a few other things they can tweak here. We've talked about the draft. We've talked about how the engage wasn't really there and the objective control. Again, it just felt like Saigon Jokers weren't playing their style of league, which is so weird to me. They had almost no enablers looking at that game.
When we watched them through the tournament group stage so far, I think the reason that they play so much Gragas is because they like to play the wave clear mid. I mean, Liss is obviously she's both wave clear and engage, but the other big one was TF. I would like to see a Gragas. I think that he's clearly very good at the champion. It gives them that engage. It also gives them a little bit extra disengage for Celebrity if they need it. And also it allows Ro to play another carry. What I don't want to see is them to pick up something like the Elise again and then switch to a Maokai top. I think that would be the wrong direction to take. I think it's better that he plays a carry top with a tanky jungler.
Perhaps Lobita is their main engager. Like, he did play Lissandra, TF, so maybe first rotation the Lissandra and take the engage. And we can see because they don't really need to take the jungler.
No, and smart pickaways, honestly, as far as Game 1 drafting goes from Supermassive to ban TF, pick Lysandra relatively early, actually, in their second rotation of picks, because for whatever reason, Saigon Jokers took Lucian at least in that one. But we have a second draft to look at. We'll see if anything changes. As you mentioned, Supermassive will stick on the blue side for this second game as well, due to side selection. Will actually be on the blue side for games 1, 2, 3, and 5. Which is a pretty massive amount. With the bans are done here, Brom, Alistar, TF for Supermassive, and Kindred Lysandra with 1 to go for Saigon Jokers.
After the first game, I kind of questioned the Brom alley, and I said, it's interesting that they are targeting the support in order to get to the AD carry. And after we saw what happened, I thought that it was a really good strategy, and they're trying it again here, and we'll have to see whether or not Saigon Jokers fall into the same trap.
Yeah, but you have to. I did some research that Supermassive's semi-finals, finals. They do actually ban the Braum and Alistar most of the time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's interesting, but I think, again, unlocking the Doge always important. Maokai first pick once again. So this draft actually looking... in fact, it is identical to Game 1 so far. And this hover even happened last time. So don't adjust your screen. Supermassive are up a game here. I can't promise that.
I mean, other than the list, of course. I do like this a lot more. Trundle was one of his... most played, or actually, yeah, he's most played 4 games on Trundle support, so I really like that pick. I also like the Graves takeaway. I think that's really important. There's no way that they can let Supermassive have Graves again.
Yeah,
Nope.
I agree.
And they do take it. They may even get Trundle here as well. They're comboing with either Ro or Sue, who have both played, I believe, this event, and it will be the Trundle locked in. Lucian insta-lock, and there's the puppy.
I mean, Sivir is up, and I think that's what Saigon Joker is going to play here, but really like that Lucian takeaway.
Yeah, I really like it. If he does default back to Kalista, he does haven't won any game with Kalista, so
I don't think it's a very good idea.
Yeah.
I like the Trundle though, because I think it would be a Row type champion. I think he would be quite good on that, and it gives him that flexibility. So I think it's a really nice flex pick first up. What do you think of the Poppy again?
Actually, I want to go back to the Trundle. I actually expected them to pick the Lucian Graves instead, because Dumbledore actually doesn't play Trundle.
Ah, okay. That's a good point.
Yeah, so...
And you already saw Maokai. Yeah, that is a bit weird.
Yeah, and we know how Celebrity plays as Lucian, so it'll be very interesting what kind of picks they...
There's also this option. Well, there's actually a lot going on here in this drop. Let's wait till they lock these in. I mean, Kallista's sort of the expected AD carry pick, so that's what we're going to get. But Gragas Kallista is actually the rotation here.
Okay, so probably going to be Gragas top then. Really strong pick, good into Maokai. He has that percentage damage and the damage reduction on his W. It also gives them the engage that they were missing in the first game. So I think Gragas is a really strong pick. They decided to go with a Kallista. I mean, he only played 2 games, so it's not like he has a huge sample size that he's, 0% win rate. It's only 2 games. It's not a big deal, but when every game counts, when every game is so important, I would have much rather have seen him on the Sivir, which he performed so well on last time, than this Kallista.
I have to wonder as well if maybe... Because just looking at the players, it feels like Ro and Jinky might want to swap champions, which is also an option. Because we could have Graves top.
Yeah.
And give the Gragas over to Jinky.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that would actually be pretty good.
Well, LeBlanc and Elise are the picks. We'll have to find out, though, because Saigon Joker still need to round their draft out. Does seem like they've got a mid lane to try and counter pick into.
This will be the first time that Stomaged has played Elise. Like we said before, he's now played 5 Graves games and 3 Kindred.
Yeah, I actually don't like this LeBlanc pick. Like, who's he going to blow up? Like, once Kalista gets a Quicksilver Sash or more, it would be very difficult to kill any member of the lineup.
That's true. Graves obviously very tanky, gets the more as well. Kalista likely to get a more now in response to the Elise. I mean, they have a lot of magic damage. Yeah. Maokai, Elise, LeBlanc. Okay, like they're hovering the Kassadin again. I think in this situation, it's not that bad. They have the engage that they lacked last game. They have some wave clear with the Graves jungle. So it's not as bad as it was last game. Kassadin very good again into very good this game into triple AP. Last game it was into double AP and double AD with the Graves jungle. So I think Kassadin is better now than it was. But
there we go. That's what.
Yeah, but again we have that same issue. We didn't see Kassadin didn't go into the side lane at all last game. He just sat mid, constantly getting pushed in, constantly getting chip damage on the tower.
Very poor TP.
Very poor TPs as well. If they want to try it again, he's going to have to play it a lot better.
Well, we'll have to see what happens because we are going to get ourselves in the game number 2. Let's pop back over to the casting desk to get into the game.
Thanks, guys. That was a really interesting draft once again. I definitely feel it was better from Saigon, but still a couple of curious things coming out. I think they got pressured into that first rotation, and then finishing off with the Caston. It feels like to me, you know, when you're a kid and you're trying to fit those like circle pieces into like the circle, and they're trying to force like the star in, and it's just not working.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Caston pick Carbon obviously made an excellent point on the desk. The one thing that I really want to talk about, though, is you can't talk about the mid lane without also talking about the jungle rotation. And in the previous game, Supermassive just ran over the Saigon Jokers, particularly by exploiting Jinky. And it was the reverse matchup, the Elise versus Graves. This time around, Jinky gets the Graves, so he has the superior clear rotation. Obviously, unless he face checks into Cocoon, I'm actually going to give that matchup to Graves in just a straight 1v1, just because the AoE clear against the Spiderlings on Elise. And that's kind of the big difference here. So yeah, there's the Caston pick, but I feel like they've almost compensated for it by having the Graves available, especially because he's also going to bring a lot of wave clear, so he can cover for Caston much more effectively.
I wonder if Jinky will actually get into the jungle, though, and actually do the same thing that we saw in that first game and be as aggressive. But this is still a low wave clear composition. Like, Graves can't be everywhere. And, like, Caston isn't going to be able to clear. Callista, no. Trund, no. And then, like, Gragas, he's got a barrel. So, like, he can disengage and take away a wave, but it's just delaying as well. And that's the same as, like, the Lucian that we saw last game.
There's not, like, the biggest wave clears like a Sivir or an Azir or something like that. You are correct there. But it's kind of like the fact that all of these wave clears can stack across each other, the fact that Gragas can throw out the barrel, that Graves has the AoE, that Callista is going to itemize into a Hurricane. It's like a bunch of subpar wave clear that when stacked together, by our forces combined, we can clear a wave.
We'll see if that actually becomes the case. I'm just scared that we'll see a very similar game to game 1, you know, just a carbon copy. Faldrant, he's walking into this top lane.
Get him.
Get him. In this one-on-one, I think damage advanced over to Ro, so that lane is just straight up 1. But this is a tank matchup. There's not a lot going to happen up there, but I do like the fact that Ro's back on a tank.
And that's the biggest thing, the fact that the Saigon Jokers are playing more so their game this time around. Yeah, Celebrity got put on the Callista. Again, Soulstrike said it on the desk, has 0% win rate on that champion for this tournament. But he has the carry potential. You've got Ro on a champion that can make these hard engage plays. You have a bit more safety for Jinky here. So I think that this is going to be more so a Saigon Joker's game, and that's what we want. We want them to play their game. We don't want them to pretend to be something else.
Exactly. And it's interesting as well because in terms of champion selects, because Supermassive is on 1, 2, 3, and 5 on blue side, Saigon will only ever get first pick once. So I want to see if they prioritize the Maokai, if they put a lot of priority in that. But if they also have the Gragas also practice, then I think that's fine. But have to see how good that is actually in practice and in-game, because we haven't seen it so far from Ro in this tournament. So we're just going to see this double jungle start off, and no lane swap. So yeah, just starting off. Oh, yeah. Wait,
it is a lane swap.
It is a lane swap.
The
I saw the poppy and got confused.
Well, why it's confusing is because Jinky actually started on his strong side of the jungle. So again, really prioritizing the fact that he doesn't want to get screwed over game 2.
Yeah.
That he's not only initiating the lane swap, so most junglers will be busy with the side lanes anyway, but he also starts on his strong side of the map as Thaldrin gets bullied out.
He does indeed. Bot lane also pushed up and got those deep wards. And
they're rushing to dive.
Going into this jungle. Faldrant, he's only level 1, and he is pretty low. And yeah, will be forced away. So he's seen them in this jungle, and now they have 4 people on this top side. There's nothing that Faldrant can do.
He's actually wasting a lot of time. So he gathers information that the buff steal is going down, which will queue for a Stone Match to rush across and also trade blue buff. So it will be a vertical start for either junglers. But he's losing so much time and experience that Ro is getting by not being paired up with his jungle.
Yeah, this really sucks for Faldrant, actually. Still level 1. And Ro, he'll be able to go into that top lane, should be able to take this one down. And as soon as they bounce it, he'll be in a better position. So Faldrant has to walk all the way from top lane to bot lane, and will be slower on this play. Celebrity's setting this one up, but he's the only one setting this one up because actually it was separated from the tower and the minion wave. So now they're going to get onto this, but it's actually Supermassive who should be able to take this one down first in the bottom lane. Actually, that's very similar health. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a tempo advantage to either team.
The power of Maokai and having such amazing base AD stats.
Yeah, exactly. That's all coming out from the Maokai there.
Yeah, just all him.
Yeah.
No, so obviously what's going to be really important, like you said, is how they bounce the wave. So everyone in a PvP environment in a lane swap should be able to trade towers quite effectively. We're not in the North American LCS where people randomly die to towers. Or the LPL. I don't know if it's happened in EU.
Or Herald. Yeah.
Or Herald. But it's more important what these teams do with the bounces, and even more important, who they give the experience to. So they actually split it between the top laner as well as the AD carry. Bounce did go down, so Ro should be able to hold that wave if he chooses to, and it's now a question of where does Celebrity go? Is he going to disappear as Dumbledoge is...
Yeah, here's the classic Dumbledoge roam coming into the mid lane. And the flash on the E, but it doesn't actually connect into the wall. But the follow-up from Naru, he used the auto attack, and that's first blood to Supermassive. Dumbledoge coming up big.
And so the question for me was where are Saigon Joker is going to send their carries between the lane swap when it should have been where are Supermassive going to send their carries. And of course I'm talking about Dumbledoge.
Yeah.
They used that small window of opportunity of taking down and getting the initial tower down first to have Dumbledoge disappear into Fog of War, appear in the mid lane, and start getting Naru that lead that he likes to have on LeBlanc.
Oh man, so good to see Dumbledoge come into his element and just randomly be in these lanes and just turn up and it's like, I'm just going to pick up a kill into the mid lane, why not?
But again, it's another adaptation of this idea that, so last time we saw Dumbledoge, he stayed in the 2v2, they tried to neutralize Celebrity, they did a good job. This time around, Celebrity's on the Callista, doesn't have a win rate, can still play the champion, but unfortunately hasn't found the success. But that also unlocks Dumbledoge. So it's kind of like a 1-2 punch against the Saigon Jokers. You're on a champion that hasn't worked for you this tournament, and guess what? In the lane swap, I'm free to do whatever I want.
That's exactly what he's doing. Top lane is being forced down a little bit faster from Supermassive here, but Trundle was very good at pushing towers, so they should be able to catch up a little. And see if they can make another play. Because we know the Supermassive, if they're given an inch, they can take a mile. Just because they have Dumbledore roaming, they can use all these extra members. Levita being punished in the mid lane. And that extra kill early to Naru is just really, really good.
Check out this setup, though. Thaldrin's going in, but on the other side, Jinky is also available. Everyone sees each other. No, never mind, don't want this.
Taking a trip to Nope City on that one, just walking away. And level 3, Thaldrin doesn't really want that fight up against level 4 out of the jungle. So one more wave should be able to score this top turret.
And the reason why they're pushing this down so much faster than Celebrity and Sue is actually this cute little wave manipulation in between it. Poppy and Lucian actually dashed forward behind the tower and caught the next incoming waves because it wasn't a cannon wave and they knew that it wasn't going to do much damage, which is what gives them this advantage. Then Thaldrin, again, was stalled behind in level 1 because he didn't get the initial double jungle, has now been fed both towers.
That's really good for Thaldrin, just trying to catch up. And there should be Herald going over to Supermassive as well.
They should put it top.
To Thaldrin?
Yeah. Not give it to Thaldrin, but they should use it top so Thaldrin can reset this wave so their poor little Maokai isn't so overextended.
Right.
He's still a little tree, he's a little sapling.
Yeah, he's a sad little tree right now, but Sue and Jinky will be able to take this Dragon with Celebrity coming in. So 2-2 tower trade, Dragon for Herald, and yeah, haven't sent anyone up to top lane. They just gave the Herald to Stone Mage, so see if he goes back into the top lane. But he'll probably go elsewhere now. So looking at the CS differentials, Thaldrin and Ro have basically just gotten to the same place right now, 14 and 14 CS, and now they're in the 1 versus 1 lane. So it's a tank matchup, not too much to mention. Mid lane, that extra kill going over to Naru did give him a small power spike, but he's not able to just straight up kill Levita.
Yeah. The big thing also is the fact that Thaldrin is forced to back right now, so it was really important that he get that wave underneath the tower so he could reset it, get a bounce back, and be in a safer position. Thankfully for Ro, he got it. He's got not a freeze, but he's going to hold this wave for a very long time and then build it back up, which means that Thaldrin kind of has to find somewhere else to be. Rift Herald has been utilized in the bot lane, so they decided to reset the map to spin their global gold as opposed to assisting Thaldrin, and now they're trying to make a play on this bottom outer tower. So watch Naru and how he gets involved with this and if he's able to stop Levita and hold him down in the lane.
Let's see if that actually pans out. I mean, Thaldrin is quite far away from the play. He's in level 4. Like, he spent so much time just walking around the map. He's he's going. This is he's not really.
He's got his brown boots. He's
got
his
marathon
Pumas.
runner. There's the TP from Thaldrin.
So
just like, you know what? I'm just done with walking, honestly. And now the reaction TP from Ro is just too late. He's level 5, so he doesn't have the ultimate to engage. And 5 people have been drawn into the bottom lane from Saigon, whereas in the mid lane, Naru's just still farming.
And this is my question. I said, watch Naru, see how he interacts with this play. And again, just great communication. Ro!
Oh, he's level 6, lands the explosive cast. Achu's dropping low. Thaldrin comes in with the CC. And Stormage only now coming into this fight. Flash over the wall. The cocoon. The kill. She'll be out onto Celebrity. Levita walks back into the bottom lane, trying to chase down Stormage. And I think Elisa's done for here. Dumbledore is still running away. Naru tried going down, but realized it was a lost cause. And Sue Just gotta hit him, man. Levita, he's got the ultimate in a couple seconds. Just need to get in range. The flash, the jump, the kill.
But that's also really important because Kassadin did not pick it up. I was talking how it was so important what Naru was going to do. If he was able to keep that Kassadin down, not because the Kassadin was the primary enabler for that team fight. Naturally, it was Ro. But you see the same thing from Supermassive. Naru stays in place. He says to his team, just disengage, just back up. The difference is the Saigon Jokers this time around have that Gragas. They're able to pull the trigger. It's not the Fizz. And they get punished for it. So now the adaptation on Supermassive. Naru, you can no longer just trust in your team to get the safe engage because the Saigon Jokers have their tools.
The weird thing to me there was like they pushed in this massive wave of Herald and it was just like, oh, Ro's only level 5, he's not level 6, he can't engage in this. You just push that wave into him, he's going to farm it and he's going to get experience. So as soon as Ro hit level 6, it was just like, let's go in. And then they pick up those kills.
Dunked on a Chew.
Yeah, actually
ya,
just
mate.
dunked. He just got destroyed. Did manage to pick up a kill in return onto Celebrity, which was good. Is what they'll be needing to do in the rest of the game. But now they also have that other threat of Levita. Should be in a good shape. So Ro pushing up the top lane now. That wave is finally unfrozen from the top side. So Falcon is able to receive all of this farm. So he's in a better shape out of the jungle. Pretty much as expected, at least going for their trackers. And Jinky actually going for the skirmishes in this game with Graves. So opting away from the trackers and just trying to get up in Stone Mage Grill. But he hasn't really just gone into the jungle yet. He's just kind of just been chilling in the zone.
Because I feel like he knows that they're going to walk into his as Sue gets locked up.
Yeah, Cocoon lands. Do they have any more CC? It's going to have to come out from Dawnwall Doge, but that was like... When what reality are you in range to land either, Dawnwall Doge? There's also no wall there. What were you trying? Oh, maybe... No.
It was the spirit of it. But here we go. They're going to contest for this blue buff still. Flash down for double doge.
Oh, collateral damage. Jinky still got it. I think the Q got it actually end of the line.
Yep, Jinky got it. That said, it does deny it from Lavidia here, so Kassadin doesn't have that CDR as well as the mana pool to continue to Rift Walk, so that is a small victory there.
I appreciate the ham from Dawnwall Doge, but sometimes too much ham is a bad thing. And doesn't have his flash, so that's a big deal. Faldrin, he protected the blue buff. That's all he needed to do there. Ro was trying to take that one away. Mid lane's now being sieged in. Now a big farm differential's opening up. Naru's got that 20 CS farm in the mid lane just because Levita's been reacting to these plays, whereas Naru's just been chilling in mid lane, poking down the turret, just farming up. And it's also picked up that Abyssal Scepter. Anything else going on? Nah, just Rod of Ages over to Levita as well.
No, just fairly standard across the board. We do have the completed MR for Maokai versus the wave clear on the bombing center, as well as health from Ro. Although both top laners are probably sitting on a pretty sizable chunk of gold. So before that next team fight, making sure that they get more resistances in.
Mid lane. Chains connect. Stone Mage going in, and Levita just drops. I was not expecting that damage from Naru.
I don't think he was expecting either. Here's Ro, though, has Cask.
Dawnwall Doge charging up the ult. Get out of here, Gragas. And he'll have to take the long road back into the mid lane. Oh, he's back.
Still has Cask.
Yeah. So
it was a short road.
It was a very short road.
It was like
and
a stroll.
Now he's got his ultimate. Here's all like the crappy wave clear coming together, and now they've got the wave. There you go. You were right all along, Frosk.
By our powers combined.
We got this wave. We did it, guys. Good job.
I love it. She doesn't even have Hurricane yet, but she's been pretty much held up by a Chew here.
Got that wave.
Nailed it.
All right, so Dragon's up in 25 seconds, and here's the TP. Cocoon, just slightly mistimed out there.
No.
He's trying to get it. He has flash if he really wants this onto Dawnwall Doge. And
is it worth it?
yeah, is it really? I mean, Dawnwall Doge doesn't have flash, and he knows he doesn't have flash. So is it worth it for the support with Dragon up? Maybe. They choose no. They chose not to.
That was a strong nope.
Yeah.
On the row there.
From Saigon, but
Big
now with
thing,
Dragon
though,
up, they don't want to take it.
Is that the teleport was now burned. Yes, they still have a teleport on Lavidia. But their flanking play is no longer available, whereas Thaldrin does have his TP, so you see him immediately shoving up to force Ro to respond to the top lane, which gives Thaldrin a free back and then a free run and possibly a numbers advantage to this dragon. So that TP could set up a free objective for Supermassive with the numbers discrepancy.
A very good chance with mid lane being pushed in as well. Saigon are just slow right here. Sue is going to be pushing up. The Cocoon lands. Dawnwall Doge being that front line, but another wave coming in should be gone.
Super aggressive because they know that their top laner can be there at any time, and they see Ro on the top side because he's clearing the creep wave. So that TP, not pulling the trigger on Double Doge, it was a free objective, and it may turn into more as now they collapse onto Dragon, and here comes Maokai.
And Jinky
You're
Jinky
welcome.
also used his ultimate there in the mid lane, and I'm not sure about this, but Saigon, they made a lot of curious choices. First a TP, and then they recalled just as Dragon's coming up, so they don't have the pressure in the mid lane. They lose that tower, and now they're making a reaction play in the mid lane, but they could be collapsed upon by Supermassive as they come in for a pincer movement. I think they're good. Oh, there's this happening.
Yeah, the idea from Supermassive is, hey, we just got a free tower as well as a dragon. Let's not push our luck. Because if they die here, it's going to be a free mid-tier tower. Depending on how quickly Saigon Jokers can push, it could possibly be 2 or at least chip damage internally. So they make the safer, cautious play, take the objectives, reset the map, we're back to farming.
But they also managed to just hold that tower 2v5 in the mid lane, so they didn't need to go for that fight anyway.
Well,
And
how are they going to siege it?
yeah, I mean, like, what are you going to do? They had like 3 minions and like not a siege comp. So yeah, Saigon,
I like 3 minions and not a siege.
like they just can't.
We can kill you, but we can't take the tower from underneath you.
Yeah, but apparently they can't kill Supermassive even with their composition. So yeah, this is a game where Saigon are more playing their style, but it feels like Supermassive with 1 TP is just playing the style but better and just taking everything from them. The gold discrepancy is not that big in this game. It's only 1,000 gold, but it's like that last game, and then they lost.
I mean, the desk has been right. And when you look at the stats, Celebrity is the primary carry of Saigon Jokers, but the most important player on their team is Ro. Not only with his champion priority, but the Gragas, but also because, like you said, Saigon Jokers, they're playing more so their game, like they have the tools to do it, but it's still all in Ro's hands. They need the hard initiation, they need the team fight, as he's actually caught out, spanked, get back to your own side.
That imagery was not what I was expecting, but Levita back in this bottom lane, clearing this one out.
There was a hand motion that
There
went
was,
with it.
yeah. You didn't catch that at home, but there was hand motion. So Supermassive pushing this top tower. They should be able to take this one away. I mean, they just constantly have the numbers. They're always one step ahead of Saigon, who are always reacting to these plays, and there's never that reaction punch. It's just like, oh, I'm here, and oh, we just lost our tower. Now looking for an engage. Ro is here. He does have cast.
There's the exhaust. He can get in front of him.
Chased down.
Oh!
Comes in for the flash E, but denied by Dumbledore. The E against the wall, but Celebrity with the Fate's Call keeps him alive, and Saigon just don't get anything.
But that was the ultimate, the cask. They needed that to connect, and Dumbledore just straight outplayed.
Dumbledore, yeah, I mean, it was all on him in that fight, stopping 3 people. So now with that top tower, just took a little bit of damage off it, and they can just rinse and repeat that play.
And this is the thing,
yeah.
Supermassive have been doing so well playing in between Saigon Joker's cooldowns, not just their teleport cooldowns, but things like the cask cooldowns, and continuing to chip away, paper cut at these objectives. Something that this team does incredibly well, especially for wildcard region, is identify exactly where they need to be at the map at the exact same time. It's a very clinical and clean form of League of Legends. It's them looking at the map and saying, what's the easiest objective to take on the map? Okay, it's going to be this top tier tower. Why is it the top tier tower? Because we need to be on the top side of the map. Since Dragon's down, there's no other objective there. So even if we don't get the top tier tower, we can transition pressure to a different monster objective. And that's kind of what's put them ahead, whereas, like you said, the Saigon Jokers, they're very reactionary, but they don't have a clear-cut plan about what is our objective on the map, where do we need to be. It's where's the enemy team, try to kill them. If that doesn't work, try again.
Which is weird, because we saw more pre-planning from them in in the group stage, but right now it just seems like a different team. Jinky, he's just straight up caught out. He's dead. I mean, there's nothing really more to say about that one.
Well, they should actually be using the Spiderlings to take that tower. So a slight misstep from Supermassive, but just playing a little bit safe. But they continue to make these picks. They continue to chip away at these towers. And both the outer towers and top and bottom are effectively a stiff breeze from another global gold swing.
Exactly. Hey, man, maybe the bottom tower just hits power spike, so you don't want to be sieging that one.
It's not
Could
27
kill all
minutes
of you.
yet.
Yeah, that is true. But maybe they miscounted. I mean, 17 minutes. I mean, 1 kind of looks like a 2 in the heat of the moment. I don't know. I'm trying real hard, but I'm not really getting anything. Bot tower is still being sieged in, but Saigon do react to this one in time.
I think the big thing is that Sue had disappeared in the fog.
Hello.
Oh.
Naru over the wall, doesn't land chains. That would have been a kill otherwise. That mark going off would have been just a dead Celebrity.
Mark, auto, ignite.
Very close, but Celebrity's over the wall.
Looking for the heroic charge or the cocoon. They've got the inner track. Here comes Ro for the flank.
And both tanks are going to find each other.
Nicely
Cask
played.
lands onto Achu, but great E will actually knock himself away from harm as the keeper's verdict. And once again, Levida is being pushed away. That is bottom tower going down because we've got the split push from Naru. And just constant chipping away at these towers is just knocking over these towers one by one, gradually getting advances in this lane. And slowly but surely, Saigon are bleeding out.
And effectively, it goes back to the idea that Supermassive have two plans. We can take the team fight, or more correctly, they take a pick because it's a very pick-based composition, Twisted Advance, Cocoon, LeBlanc's burst damage, or we take the objective. And because of that, they have two avenues of attack, and they're going to win on either one of them, whereas Saigon Jokers, again, it's only one avenue of attack, the 5v5 or a small skirmish.
Celebrity back into that mid lane, and he's the carry that Saigon need, but he's not in good shape. That's what I'm trying to say. 20 farm behind his counterpart, almost 30 farm in this game. Last game as well, he also got shut down, or at least neutralized. And Supermassive, I said this in game 1, but I just feel like their preparation into this game has just been so much better than Saigon. I mean, Saigon, they had preparation, but it was misguided. They went for the fizz and like looked at different things, and they got totally thrown off by the Maokai pick.
I feel like Saigon Jokers have been trying to play more so, again, that denial game versus just playing their game. This is a little bit closer, but Soulstrike spotted up, not prioritizing the Lucian over in second rotation over the Trundle when Dumble Doge doesn't play it. And it could just be more of those mind games, the fact that they double support man went out, but there's the dragon, but here's the fight.
Secured by Stomage, Jinky coming in, Levita looking for this kill to come out, and we've got this kind of semi-disengage, but Dumbledore, he's looking for blood, he wants to go in. Naru jumps in with Distortion, lands the change onto Ro, Dumbledore's in the backlines onto Jinky, Automate doesn't land there from Jinky either, but Levita is down, and Saigon Joker's trying to get out of this fight, throws Sue back in, but Naru in with a flank, the double Distortion, Ro drops low, he finds Naru, the Dumbledore out from Lucian will be the kill, Jinky also caught out, and Dumbledore is on top of him. Sue, he doesn't have a team anymore, and this could be the clean ace coming out. He's going to flash away, trying to delay the inevitable, but that's a wasted summoner. And just straight up, Saigon Jokers are exterminio.
The dragon, the ace, the team fight, they'll possibly get more off of this, but they don't necessarily have the waves in position. Naru, what a beast. We talk about the flashy plays, how he typically likes to trade his life for the backline. In this entire series, game 1 and 2, Naru has not died yet. He's sitting 4-0-2. Last game he was Lysandra, didn't die. It's completely reversed. His KDA is going to spike up like mad. This guy's playing like a god, using vision so well, comes over the side, blows up the back line. Delicious.
That is pretty much the way to describe Naru's play in that one. Just delicious gameplay. And there's nothing that, like, Saigon are just not doing anything. Like, Naru he just did everything in that fight. He just came in from the front door, popped someone, walked around, just took a stroll over the wall, and it's just like, oh, 3 people grouped up, just gonna double distort them. It's like, there was nothing to pressure him out, because Dumbledore was causing all the pressure.
And this is the big thing. The desk talked about it. The Naru versus Levidia matchup, it made sense because Levidia is going to play mostly wave clear, although this time around in this series he's been going for the assassins, that it should have just neutralized Naru. But Naru is going to dive the backline anyway, and Celebrity has always been the primary carry in terms of the damage output for Saigon Jokers. So I feel like Naru, yes, he should have been neutralized in the mid lane against Levidia if it was a wave clear matchup versus Assassin, but he's going to go for Celebrity anyway, and because he hasn't been slowed down, he doesn't have to trade his life for it. So he's taken Celebrity, and he's taken everyone else with him.
Ro, Sue, and Jinky heading up to this top lane, but name of the game, just a little too slow. Tower goes down, and another one over to the team of Supermassive. 6 towers currently, just taking away the red buff, just taking everything that Saigon own, and Naru's just going to take away the blue buff as well. This is just horrific.
They're deciding to pull the trigger on a very a Chu, no one saw it. Don't look. He's fine.
Yep, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
They're trying to pull a very aggressive Baron. Blue Trinket is up and available for Callista there, but she needs to get into position. They could spot this one out.
I mean, Supermassive have 4 pinks in the top jungle, and Saigon have literally nothing. They have no vision, and now they put down the blue trinket, but it's just straight up too late. There's another blue trinket, and get out of here, Jinky! What a fantastic keeper's verdict from Dumbledore. There just wasn't a snowball's chance in the hell at Saigon stealing away that Baron.
And it's going to be a clean pickup here for Supermassive. Now a question of where they're going to put this Baron. Typically you see the mid inhibitor go down because it offers you the most control and flexibility over the map, and then swinging down into the bottom inhibitor, as Rusty likes to call it, the Baron inhib.
Well, this game has just gone... in a very similar way to game 1, but I think maybe even worse. And this has got to be crushing for the mentality of Saigon. It's like, okay, well, we tried our prep and we tried going for the adaptation, didn't work. Let's go back to what worked in the round robin and play our game. Didn't work. Now what? Like, do they have anything more in their back pocket? This is a best of 5, but you expect plan A or at least plan B to kind of work out, but is there a plan C? Is there a plan Z? Like, how far do you have to go as Saigon?
I think they need to prioritize a wave clear mid laner against Supermassive just because this team is so coordinated in taking down objectives as quickly as possible. Ro, though, on the run. Twisted Advance will be available soon. He's got it.
Uses the ult. Faldrin. He's trying to get in range. Both of them have flash.
But he has Swifties and he has Merc Treads.
But he is Maokai and that's Gragas. So in terms of kill potential, if there were 2 different champions like Echo and Fiora, I'd be getting excited right now. But Ro's backing away.
No respect for the tanks.
No, not really. Bot lane being sleeved in by Supermassive. I mean, here's the Baron minions, mid lane being pushed in. Jinky, he's going to try wave clearing, but he's just a Graves against Normal Doge and Achu. Stomage also into the mid lane, and Faldrin, just a swift rotation. Mid tower goes down, and Saigon, at some point, they will have to pull the trigger, but it's finding that point because a bad team fight just ends the game.
Nope, you're absolutely right. It should be over the second inhibitor, but we'll see if Ro... I thought he was going to go for it right there, but he doesn't have Cask.
Oh, that is actually a big deal.
Because he burned it trying to stall away from Maokai.
Yeah, that's actually a huge issue. Well, we do have a brief pause here, so Saigon stewing in their thoughts for a little bit as they're being sieged in.
Letting the anticipation build.
Yeah.
So again, as we come back in, the inhib has fallen. They did manage to stall out the second inhibitor from going down. Can't quite see on my screen if the tower's still there. Nope, Naru did take the bottom tower. So exposed inhibitor on bottom side, and Supermassive now looking for that top inhibitor. Cask is also available this time around. Here he goes.
Here's the engage, but it's 2 versus 5. Ro, he's just not on the same page as the rest of the team. And Celebrity's like, I can't do anything.
He expected Achu to look for the relentless pursuit. Instead, he whiffs the Cask, and it's going to be Supermassive just rolling over the top of Saigon Jokers.
Off of that play, I mean, Ro may have just sealed the deal. The curtains are coming down on Saigon Jokers. Supermassive coming in here. Doge, he's going to lead the charge. There's the kill onto Levida. And Jinky is going to try and return some damage. Keep his verdict. Going to knock Kalista back to base. And first inhibitor, or rather first Nexus turret going down. Naru, there comes the exhaust, but this is just going to be the end of the game straight up. There's nothing that Saigon Jokers can do to defend this one, and the Nexus will go down. The second game going over to Supermassive in this best of 5.
Naru still sitting completely deathless this series so far, having a gorgeous series, which just means that Supermassive's shot calling gets to be that much more on point. Again, he's the shot caller. Their objective identification has been so brilliant throughout this series. And if Saigon Jokers can't find a way to slow him down, to put him on tilt, they're just going to continue to walk all over them.
I'm loving the word choice coming out here. Frost was gorgeous and delicious play coming out from Naru. Delicious. And yeah, just fantastic play from Supermassive in general. But I can't help but feel a lot of it has just kind of been served to them on the silver platter coming out from Saigon Jokers, and neither of their plans have worked. So yeah, they're going to have to adapt once again, or try plan A or plan B and hope that it just works this time.
The brilliant thing for me, and because they've been on blue side, has been the priority pick of the Maokai both times. And Maokai, I think, is so influential in this series.
Yeah.
Because of how the Saigon Jokers work, he's going to be the easiest way to get that flank, that double teleport, that hard engage, as opposed to relying on the Cask. Again, it's a much shorter cooldown, and that's the thing. Supermassive have been so punishing and playing in between the cooldowns of Saigon Jokers on the teleport, but more importantly, the cooldown timers. When that Cask wasn't available, it meant 2 inhibs are dropping.
And the big problem with that is they're still going to be on red side for this final game. If this is the final game, they need to survive this one to finally be on that blue side. But we're going to send it over to the analyst desk to take a look at that game too.
Well, looks like a lot of it's just sort of the similar stuff here that we've been seeing. Draft really, once again, maybe sort of hurting Saigon Jokers here. There were definitely some adaptations there in that particular game, but gentlemen, the changes they made were good, but I don't know if there were enough changes.
Yeah, I mean, well, during the game, I think it was Pulse alluded to there. You know, they tried plan A, they tried plan B. Do they have a plan C? I disagree with that. I think they tried plan A. Then they tried plan A again, and we'll see whether or not they have a plan B. Look, They did do a few good things, I think. The Gragas I thought was really good. They had that one great team fight in the bot lane where having that engage that they lacked in the first game allowed them to make some of that gold back. But yeah, Cassidy, I mean, we saw it again. I think at 17 minutes, LeBlanc had 2 items. She had finished Abyssal Morello's, and Cassidy was sitting on Catalyst, blasting one Negatron. Like, I don't know. It was just not a good look.
Yeah, and like I like to touch on the whole Saigon Jokers composition because they don't really have a guaranteed engage. Like Maokai, he just ults and just press W and it gets instant engage. Whereas Gragas, it's more conditional. You need to flash body slam and throw your cast, but he did whiff it a bit and
A little bit
yeah,
user error there. Room for user error.
it was just unlucky. But yeah, they just don't have this perfect engage, like guaranteed engage that Saigon Jokers need.
On the other side, of course, I know you guys were a bit worried about it in the draft. Naru's LeBlanc, there seemed like there were plenty of tanks that he wasn't going to be able to get through. But once again, Naru, he wants to dive the backlines and put his face in the enemy. And this time, he just didn't even die. Absolutely huge game from LeBlanc.
He actually played so well. We were talking before about how many deaths he's had during the group stage and how he seems to just be suiciding for the backline. But I mean, when you play that well, you don't need to suicide at all, right? You just constantly kill people. I mean, he was up against a Gragas, a Graves, Cassidy. I mean, even Callista. Callista can build more. Trundle, like they should have been difficult targets for him to kill, and he just did not care. He just blasted them.
Yep,
blasted them all
certainly
away.
did.
Yep.
I mean, the jungle matchup, again, we saw the Graves, and Elise was actually the counter pick here, but it feels like Stomach just has so much control in this matchup. Jinky, the reason I expected a potential lane swap between Graves and Gragas was because Jinky is a gank-heavy jungle and not a farm-heavy one. Ro, he had all this power to engage it, and he did make good use of it with TP, but it's not the same influence that a jungler has.
Yeah, I do want to touch on the lane swap a little bit, actually. And that was, I thought, quite strange that Saigon Jokers would try for the lane swap. Lucio Soul Strikes was saying before that it's actually quite good for Supermassive to swap because they get out of that celebrity 2v2 lane, and that opens up the map for Dumbledoge. And this is exactly why, right? Saigon Jokers tried to swap. Dumbledoge is instantly mid to kill the Cassidy, and LeBlanc gets first blood, and all of a sudden they have a major problem on their hands.
Yeah, and the fact Dumbledoge just gets unlocked and go for that mid lane with Cassidy, very low mobility at pre-6, so and get the first blood.
Yep, seems like Levita and the rest of Saigon Jokers maybe not putting their best effort in, but they do potentially have a game to answer here, and they will need to, as it's their third and potentially final game. We'll see if Supermassive can get the sweep. Don't go too far. The next one's coming up right after this.